Welcome back to Boot Camp, soldier. We're going to jump right into the action today with a terrain primer. And the focus of this lesson, this tutorial, is to do a visual review of the Chapter B terrain. Chapter B is quite long, so I'm not going to have specific lessons to cover just each type of terrain. What this is going to do is going to go through each of the terrain, nearly all of the terrain in Chapter B, and show you a visual representation and a quick summary of what the terrain is within the ASL system. So the key, the legend for looking at these different types of terrain is shown here. And there are basically 8 sections. There's a terrain type with the hex showing the terrain feature, and then to the right will be a short little description, and then to the left are 6 key elements, which are: is it an obstacle, and what is its height equivalent? Is it a hindrance? Is it considered route terrain? Is it considered rally terrain, meaning does it infer the -1 rally bonus die roll modifier? Is it considered inherent terrain? And is it considered concealment terrain? And just from a quick glance at that left section of each terrain part of the video, you'll be able to tell what type of characteristic that each ASL terrain feature has. And then as you go through it, I suggest having your ASL terrain chart, the official one, which is shown here, because it follows along in the exact order listed in the left column there. That's the order that I'm going to show the terrain features with a few omissions. If you use the rat pocket charts, the orders are alphabetical, I believe, so they're going to be in a different order. So I suggest pulling this out of your rule book and having it in front of you, especially if you're a new player, to go through and review each terrain feature. So without further ado, let's jump into this virtual and visual ASL terrain summary. Okay, that is the end of the terrain summary from Chapter B. I'll try to incorporate each details of each terrain feature into example sessions, example play sessions that I do in the future. But for now, let's use this as a guide. I suggest going through Chapter B, reading the sections that you need to read for whatever scenario you're going to jump into or are currently playing, and try to familiarize yourself that way. So I hope you found this useful. I hope you found the visual representations useful. And if you did, please subscribe. The link is just below. Just hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Next time, we're going to do for lesson 7, exercise 7, we're going to do fire mechanics and the infantry fire table. We're getting very close to being able to jump into some actual mini scenario setups to show movement, line of sight, and fire mechanics and how they all work together. Maybe not a full scenario yet, but actually moving some counters, infantry counters and components around to see how the system works. There will be some things that pop up that I may not have covered yet, such as sniper activation or routing and whatnot. But we're getting close to at least jumping into a first play session so you can see how the mechanics of the game work. So until next time, I am not live with real dice, so I'm just going to say Rolo.